Today we lord over withering penguins with no manners in a room. That's fucking right, it's episode 188 of Indie Game Riot. Indie Game Riot!
Hey everybody, I am Josh, joined once again by Vance and Rev, the Reverend and the Vance, one and only in the entire world. Here for episode 188, we've got some good games coming up as always, but first, let me remind you all that Indie Revolution Expo IRX 2024 is coming up May 17th. You have like a week and a half left before we're shutting down the signups to get your game signed up for exhibition during the expo. And let me
You forgot to change. I was gonna let you finish the entire time.
Logos there. You were gonna shame me,
and then I was gonna be like, "Hey, you forgot the logo."
You were gonna shame me. I got it. Whew. Better late than never. So yeah, Indie Revolution Expo is coming up. So get your games signed up for exhibition. If you are a dev or anyone within the industry that has any interest, has something interesting to talk about, sign up for a presentation. Get your face out there. Talk about business. Talk about business and marketing. Talk about we had people talk about law. We talked about voiceover in indie games. We talked about how to market to
all sorts of stuff.
Yeah. So if you have something interesting to say, sign up for that. Again, about a week and a half left. We recently had the IRX Jam come to an end. We had several submissions, so we're going to exhibit those during IRX. The winner
and announce the winner.
Yeah, and announce the winner during IRX, and the winner will receive $100 cash money, and by cash money I mean digital ones and zeros and PayPal. And then a free IRX shirt as well. Keep an eye out for those during IRX. Also, just as a note, we were mentioning this a little bit before the show, but to the live studio audience, that things are a little chaotic, especially this month. So apologize for all the missed time and we're all over the place. I'm guessing like halfway through June in particular, it's not going to be as bad. I'm starting to move. I'm coaching baseball. I've got work, kids' school. My daughter's in.
You got a promotion at work.
Daughter's an all-star choir, so she's got stuff doing that. It's all over the place right now. So, and then IRX on top of all of that, that we're trying to get prepared for. Even though I'm really stressed out about that actually. But anyway, so yeah, that we've got a lot. So I apologize, but bear with us as we go through all that, and I hope you have a good time in the shows and when IRX happens. You guys have anything you'd like to update or like to say before we?
I have new teeth and had surgery, and they ripped out all of the teeth up here and then put in a bunch of other things. So I apologize if I slur or I blow your ears out. I'm still getting used to new teeth. I bit my tongue so many times on this side of my mouth because I'm not used to having teeth here that it hurts. I hate it. I'll have to get used to it.
Now you look like one of them Hollywood boys.
Right. And this is just a temporary one. I get the real ones in like 6 months. So
there you go. So yeah, there you go. Vance, you got something cool behind you.
Yeah. No, I just been working morning to night, 7 days a week on this new game, which I hope to have a Steam page up. I don't know, a week. 2 weeks at most, maybe? We're going to see. So
new background's a teaser.
Yeah, it is. It's a little bit of a teaser. So, we should have a Steam page up for that, and then I'll of course have a lot more details, but don't announce just yet until the Steam page is live.
There's a plan.
Yeah.
I'm gonna blow up your whole thing. I don't know anything about it, honestly, except I only know the bare minimum.
But we could blow out your veins with an indie news injection.
Ooh, yeah. This week on Indie News Injection, we don't have a whole lot going on, but we do have a little bit of. Honestly, it's more of the same.
It's doom.
Bad news. It's
doom and gloom, and it sucks.
Roll 7, the studio behind Ollie Ollie, Roller. What was that game called? It's not Roller Dome. That's a fucking movie. Anyway, the point is, Roll 7 made a bunch of really cool games, and as well as the studio behind it. This isn't Roll 7, but the studio that was behind Kerbal Space Program as well got shut down by Take-Two because corporations suck. Fuck you, corporations.
Now they have said that Kerbal is safe.
The game
what that
itself,
means, I don't know.
But what?
Yeah.
Well, the funny part is that Kerbal, the second one, is absolutely fucking garbage. If you're a Kerbal Space Program fan,
I've heard that. I've played the first one, but not the second one. I've heard that about the second one, though.
Yeah. It's
it was Roller Drome, not Dome.
Yeah, thank you.
And also, they did Not a Hero.
Oh yeah, and that was a
good game.
We covered that.
We really liked that game.
Back, yeah. So fucking just yet more studios shutting down. I don't even know. This feels very hopeless to me. I don't know.
I think. Okay, so here's where I'm coming from, and you know me, and you know that I hate like the corpo capitalist world that we live in. But like, I'm not hopeless. I'm hopeful for the art, even though in the short term it's really gonna fucking suck. Like all the news articles that I was gonna be like, oh, let me add this into Indie News Injection. It was just like article after article of like small studios that are shutting down, or the guy behind this game just laid off the 6 people on his team. Like it was just constant. And I think that what we're currently seeing in terms of the game studios, and we kind of talked about this a little bit in regards to some other games, where it's kind of a boom or bust cycle, where you'll put all of your time and effort and funding into one game and hope to God it does well, and if it doesn't, then you're screwed, as opposed to because that will actually give you the most capitalist bang for your buck. It's the same thing that we're seeing in all of the venture capital tech firms now, right? Like it used to be because there was no interest on borrowing money, everybody was throwing money at hundreds and hundreds of who gives a fuck and whatever, because if one of them makes it big, you have made back everything that you've invested in all of the ones that have failed, coupled that with your profit on that. Look at what's his dick face from PayPal, right? Like was it Peter Thiel, I think?
Doesn't Elon own that now?
No, he got
to do with
booted
it
out
in the beginning, but he hasn't had anything to do with it for a long time. I think.
He hasn't had anything to do with it ever, really. Like they brought him on board.
He did kind of help to get it started in the beginning.
In the very, very beginning, they bought his company and were like, cool. And then they went, you are a horrible coder. You have no idea what the fuck you're doing. Your business practices suck. So we're going to allow you to extricate yourself and go off, and we're going to pay you lots of money to do that. Like, he did nothing for PayPal. But my point was, Peter Thiel made like $55 million on PayPal, turned around and invested $50 million in that in like something like 6,000 different tech ideas and tech companies, and is now a billionaire off of just like 3 of them. Exactly. I made this payment thingy already later, except they like forced him out because it was horrible. So I think that we're seeing a return. We're my hope is, and this is my hope, and please don't take it away from me, it's all I've got at this point, is that we are getting away from the game studio that is trying to make the big bucks and is we're gonna do the thing, and so everybody's diving in. Like, the venture capital is no longer there because now they won't make nearly as much money because they have to pay 0.3% interest or something, and so now they're not willing to fund that, which means that all the studios that relied on that are now having to shut down, because those investors are no longer borrowing fake money. And it's a whole interconnected weave of things that basically my hope is these people go, that really fucking sucks. Maybe I should learn how to make games without relying on excessive funding. And I hope we see a return to a more bucolic game development cycle. Think the 80s and the 90s, where it was just a small team of people that were like, hey, I got this really cool idea for a game, and we get Half-Life.
You know what we might be seeing?
Or we get...
we might be seeing, you know how, like, I mean, it's like the Ice Age, right? Where the world goes through these, like, catastrophic events.
The poles realign.
Right. It goes through these catastrophic events, then the survivors come back up and everything is fine again, and then it keeps cycling like that. It's what it kind of feels like, because part of me was like, okay, well, maybe, because part of it is that, is the fact that Take-Two bought stake in these studios, right? So they were able to do this. So, it's not, I was going to be like, okay, well, it's not really, if people stay like truly independent, then it might not happen. But it's hard to, it's hard to blame people for selling out, but like literally selling out to, because they're making money. I understand that. I'm not going to blame them.
No, and I think we're going to see a return of the smaller team games. I think the days of AAA are nearing an end. Or at least an end of the gold, right? Because, like, you've got governments around the world that are going like, oh, you guys are pieces of shit, and you're exploiting children and indoctrinating them into gambling mechanics at age 3. Like, and I say that as somebody who plays a fucking Star Trek themed gacha game that I have dropped thousands of dollars into over the last 4 years, right? Like, and I consider myself not to be a big spender. I know somebody who spends more than $2,000 a week on this stupid game. It's fucking retarded. It's called
a whale.
And yeah, no, and, like, that's the term that is used for them.
Yeah.
But it like, I think we're going to find outside of the mobile environment, we're going to start getting more and more boutique and more like a return to that, like John Romero can grab 20 friends and put together a great game and publish it, and then they go on their own ways, and one of them has another idea and grabs 20 different friends, and like I that's my hope and my dream, because some of the games that are coming out of the out of studios are phenomenal. It doesn't need to be a 60-hour epic, and I say that as somebody who plays multiple 60-hour epics.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I completely agree with that. In fact, despite all of this, gloom and doom news that we keep covering, I do not feel disheartened whatsoever about the state of the game industry right now. The fact is, the music industry saw a similar thing before.
They've done it
right?
multiple times.
Yeah, multiple times, right? And so right now in the music industry, for example, you have a situation where if you want to find good music, like actual interesting music, people who are doing interesting things, you don't go to the major labels. You don't turn on the radio to find good music anymore. You find shit music. That's all you're going to hear, right? You go to the major labels, you're going to find shit. That's all you're going to find, right? Yeah. To find the good music, you have to go to, like the YouTube or the communities that actually follow that kind of thing. And there's good music being made, but it sure as hell is not the big labels that are putting it out. And I think, that's the kind of situation that, we're ending up in. And it's a rough transition for a lot of people who are in the industry, especially those who depended on their situation for being alive.
Yeah.
But I think ultimately we're going to end up in a place that is similar to where we are in music, where there's still a lot of interesting stuff being done, but it's not the big profit makers who are pushing it down anymore. It's more of an organic situation where everybody, like you said, where you get a bunch of people together, 20 people or so, make a game. Maybe next game you have some of the same people, kick out the ones you don't like, bring in some other people, etc. I mean, it always surprised me when I hear like some smallish game would say like, we spent like $2 million making this game. Like $2 million. If you gave me $2 million to make a game, can you imagine what kind of game I would make? Right? I mean, it would be the most ridiculously epic game ever. Like I make my games with like $1,000, right? I mean, like it's ridiculous.
You remind me of Brendan Fraser from Airheads, and then that made me think. I don't know if you guys ever saw the movie, but it made me think of the Indie Game Riot. We should do like the video game version of Airheads. Yeah, let's go take over. Take over
IGN studio in Los Angeles.
But yeah, no, I'm definitely sucks for the people who are being affected by this. People who have put their heart and soul into their games and their work, and they're getting ousted and shafted. But ultimately, I think we're headed to a fine place. In the end.
I hope so. I hope I don't have to start a riot over this, but
starting a riot.
Oh, that was a bad
You trailed off, and I was like, "Yeah, it's starting a riot."
You can't win them all. Today on Starting the Riot, we are covering Withering Rooms. This is a 2.5D, which means it's a side scrollery, but it is 3D. It's 3D modeled game, but you only move left to right like a side scroller. So they call it 2.5D. It is a game that has somewhat of a puzzle element. Somewhat of there's a fighting element to dodging. There's also a crafting of making your spells and enchantments, and deciding which ones you want to make, so that you can kind of play a little bit how you want depending on what spells you decide to use. And it's very, very atmospheric. It's one of the things that really struck me about this game is that they really got the atmosphere right on this. It's
Rev sounds like he has PTSD.
Yeah.
Okay, atmospheric is probably the most polite way to put it. This game is fucking freaky as shit.
Yeah, in some ways it's a little bit funny in how the way that it's freaky too. It is not like
this
blood and
this game
gore, like it's sexual, just like sort of unsettling weirdness,
constant weirdness.
Yeah.
Prep in chat said that this has Clock Tower vibes, which I can definitely see that.
I could get behind that. Like I put an hour into this game. It is like no. Okay, it was so like it's like a mix. It's like, what if Alice in Wonderland did LSD and then got stuck into the Texas Chainsaw Massacre universe, like Silent Hill. Like, this game is freaky as shit. I love it. Here's my problem with it: the controls are not very tight.
Well, how much combat is there really? Because I didn't get too far into it. I know you got about.
There's a decent amount. Yeah, it's not a constant fighting game.
Yeah, it's not, but you can kill everything that attacks you.
Because it's
basically.
considered a roguelike,
yeah.
right? So I mean, there's got to be some kind of like.
You will die constantly,
and it will change the house, the configuration of the house.
Procedurally generated.
It changes every time.
But like, no, you will. There will be moments like you have to kill things in order to get items and loot their corpses. There are bosses like there is significant combat in this. It is not a combat game.
Right.
Like I would say, think of this more like the first half of the first Resident Evil, right? Like there's combat there, but it's not the game.
So when you say the controls aren't tight, though, that's where I was getting at. That means so the combat is not the main focus of the game. So that therefore the combat or the controls not being tight isn't really all of that game breaking or anything like that. Or even so, you could say. I mean, you mentioned Resident Evil because the tank controls added to the tension, right?
For me, it adds to the tension. It was difficult. Like, I don't know. I'm kind of like the fighting game nerds when it comes to combat in my games, where it's like it needs to be fast, it needs to be responsive. You know, I need to be able to like, and by fast I mean like I should be able to press a button and have that thing happen immediately.
Okay. Kind of sluggish.
And yeah, it's a little bit sluggish, and that's kind of a pain in the ass, but it's not debilitating because it is very it's almost kind of like in a Souls-like way. You're gonna die a lot, and it doesn't really matter all that much. Because the items, like I said, it's procedurally generated. So the items that you get will, for the most part, disappear. But there's little
there's ways to save them. There's slots to save them, and you keep levels. Like if you level up.
When you hit the bonfire of this universe, and you give it the correct tribute. Then that will give you a slot that you can be like, oh, remember this item. And then when you die and you restart, you keep that item.
That's pretty cool, though. Like, I mean, just for a horror game, it's not something you see a whole lot in this way. Like,
like this is weirdly unique.
I think it's a really interesting game. Yeah, it's not. There's not another game that I can think of right off the top of my head that I can say, oh, this is basically exactly like this game. It's
like a mix between like Dark Souls and Neverending Nightmare and
Souls. Ugh.
No, I mean, like, because there is kind of that element of like die, repeat, and keep going until you can figure it out. You know, that is the aspect of the Souls like that I'm saying. I
think my favorite thing about this game though has to be the monster designs.
Some of the monster designs are disgustingly
What's
cool.
your favorite?
The first one that I hate every one that I have encountered. I will say the first one that like freaked me out was literally the first one that you run into in the bathroom, like in that very first.
The cage.
In the second bathroom.
Is it the cage guy?
No, it's not the cage guy. It's the dude that's just like sitting at the end of the room covered in a sheet.
Oh, that guy, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, fuck that guy. Like, he creeps me the shit out. Like, I cannot. The invisible guy is a close second. I hate that one. I can't figure it out. And
get disturbed by the head thing that crawls on the
spider head thing.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
I
don't like any of them. Like, I don't like any of them. They're just really well done.
Arachnophobia, but it's like it's not even about spiders. It's something about spindly things. Like I really like when I watched Coraline. I really did not like the other place. You know what I mean? Like, ugh.
Well, speaking of the cage guy, I think the cage guy is my favorite design. That's a
nice, simple,
designed guy. Yeah.
And I can see the sheet thing though. That's upsetting.
For their first game as a studio, I don't know if there's who's behind the team, but Moonless Formless, this is their first production under that name. Ridiculously impressed. Like this is really well done. Anybody who knows me knows I don't do horror. I don't do horror games. It is very rare for me to go, oh, I want to put time into this, and I am putting time into this game, and I hate it, and it scares me, and it's only like 20 minutes a day kind of thing, but I'm trying.
Did you get found while hiding? That's really upsetting too.
You can, no, that fucking sucks. Learning that was a thing that could happen, or that they could follow you through rooms. I missed in my first run. I missed part of the text where it's like, oh, this is a symbol, and if you see it, they can't follow you through this door. I missed that part, and so like I have all these doors open so that I can like quick escape, and I like run in, and I'm like, and I go into the room, and he jumps in, and he's like, shit, and I like run over, and I like accidentally closed the cupboard before I could get into it, and then I was fuck. So
when
I
you start to panic and button mash,
and then close it. Yeah, and then like close the cupboard, and this giant fucking guy comes over and he's like, no, you don't. Rips open the cupboard and kills me, and I'm just like,
when you start to panic and button mash, and you just start opening and closing things and just fucking
like, oh, I'm gonna go hide real quick underneath the table, and this thing like climbs out underneath. It's like, no, you're not. Grabs you and throws you. Like, oh god, no. That is a mechanic that I could do without for my entire life. This is a really fun game. Yeah. I'm not shitting on it.
Vance, since you got farther than the rest of us, what do you think of the story so far? Because that's
I just got to the second act. That's as far. Right. So I didn't get like that far, but
I'm still in the tutorial.
So yeah, it's great. There's definitely an early turnaround where things are happening a little differently than you think they are. Right at the end of the first act. So I mean, so far really interesting. Yep.
Who's the guy that directed The Witch and all that? What is his name? I don't know. Did you ever see those? I doubt you saw those movies since you don't like horror, but I'm gonna look it up real quick. The Witch movie. Starts with a G, I think. Directed, oh no, E. Robert Eggers. Robert Eggers. Oh. It reminds me, story-wise and style-wise, kind of. And it's not even just because of the witch thing. It reminds me of that kind of mood, and it's really tense and kind of uneasy at all times, that sort of stuff. So
that's a good way of putting it. I think one of the things that we haven't really kind of talked is kind of like the overarching like kind of plot idea. And I'm not going to spoil anything even from as far as I've been. But it's basically you're a little girl that is being placed into a mental institution. And you're supposed to spend like your first night in the gatehouse while they determine what crazy you are and what they're going to do to you. And you have this dream, and you're like, oh shit, you like go explore a little bit, and then you get burned to death by the head witch because magic is real in this dream world and is centered on this. And there's this huge mystery as to what is going on here, not just in the dream world, but in the real world, because some of the people in the dream world are also from the real world.
Most of them, I think.
Yeah, I think everything that you encounter in game, including the monsters, were from the real world. They just never bothered waking up. Other people wake up and have no problem. I'm weirdly like, I may have to just like watch a let's play of this game at some point, because I don't know that I will be able to play it to get the full story. And
we're gonna desensitize.
Weirdly interesting. It's never gonna happen, dude.
Well, yeah, as it was said, Moonless Formless is the developers of this, and it is currently for sale $24.99 on Steam, published by Perp Games, and very good job, guys. You know what else
Oh, Moonless Formless is a solo dev.
Oh shit! You serious?
That's what I'm finding.
Man, that's a lot of assets that they had to do.
Nice.
Well,
Yeah.
well, you know, I think they deserve a little bit of a peep show. This week on Peep Show, we're talking about a massively successful game, and we'll talk about why that is in just a bit. But the game is called Manor Lords. You know my love of city builder games. This is like city builder game on steroids. It is like holy grail of city builders, I would say. And the whole idea of this is that it's you are a lord that will eventually build a manor.
I have yet to do so.
One of these days. One of these days.
It's not right away necessarily, but you will eventually build a manor. But you are founding a town with the goal of eventually growing that town, probably expanding to other territories, and maybe even taking over other territories that were already taken.
Hopefully.
Depending on the scenario that you have. And this is, again, early access, being that this is Peep Show, so there's only two or three scenarios.
Three maps.
Available. Yeah.
Yeah, there's three scenarios and 2 difficulties, and not everything is in all of those scenarios.
Right. There's still a few placeholders and blah, blah, blah.
It's a solo dev.
Another one. Well, yes. Solo dev until kind of recently when they got picked up by a publisher. Now they have.
I mean, as of 5 days ago, Greg was still the solo dev.
Well, yeah, I mean, a publisher isn't a dev, so they could have a publisher and still be a solo dev.
No, I heard something that they hired a few people, maybe on just a contractual basis, for like assets and things like that. But
I find it. I mean, I can believe it's a lot of fucking work, but I can believe that Withering Rooms is a solo dev. I find it very hard to believe that this is a solo dev. He had to have had help contracted to somebody for something, or, I mean, come on, there's no way, right?
Maybe. As just one developer, I may not have had the same reach.
Sorry, I'm gonna switch our.
Anyways, I was just throwing that in. It's a great game, regardless.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason,
this thing has a level. This thing.
Are
you screwing up OBS?
No, my camera's off. Go ahead, continue.
Okay. Like there's a depth to this game that kind of excites me, but also irritates me. Like it is. I've only made it into my 3rd year twice before I have to restart. I keep fucking up certain things and going like, I'm doing that like partway through. You learn something new and go back and start over so you don't screw yourself. And this thing is weirdly difficult, but it's like a very interesting slow pace that I just like. It gels with me. I spent the last week hopped up on Vicodin and antibiotics for my surgery, laying on the couch, and I played more of this game than any other game because I didn't have to like be active with it. It was just like, I'm gonna leisurely do the thing, but you're crafting, you're mining, your resource gathering, like all of that is dependent again on your population. I know this is very common in a lot of these types of games. Something about the way that this game does it, or at least the presentation of it, has me really sucked in a way that other games don't.
So Manor Lords tries to take into account a lot of historical accuracy for the time. One of the most notable things is their burgage plots, aka the housing for your citizens and all that. But one of the things they did back in this medieval time with burgage plots is that they would set up a house and multiple families would live in this house. Sometimes with extensions or whatever, and then behind the house or around the house they would have chicken coops or vegetable gardens in this game, for instance, or et cetera. They would tend to these crops or grow these animals.
Blacksmiths
and they would do it on their property, and then take that take their product and sell it in a market, and then there would be
across the street.
Right, and then there would be the local economy right there, and then on top of that, just to kind of add to not just the city builder, but there's talking about the economy. You can trade in and out with outside of your territory. There are relations with other lords on the territory. There is a combat system similar to I would say like
Total War series.
like Total War, where you can organize your troops and get down into the, like with your camera. It's not all isometric like a lot of city builders are. You can get down in there and actually there's a like an actual 3D model that you can run around your town in as the Lord. You haven't found that out? You can take it down to the streets and just run around your town and be in your town as everyone's going about their business. You level up your various buildings and burgage plots and everything like that, and just grow from there. And
get income, and
it's super cool just how deep this game goes, and that's just at the early access part.
Like each of the 4 economic skill trees only has like 4 skills in it at the moment. Everything else is still locked. Some of the options, I have yet to actually get into the combat in this game. I have not successfully had a high enough population. Like, it took me 3 years to get to the point where I finally had enough population. It's like, yeah, I'm going to use that. And I didn't have enough spears, and I had accidentally used all of my steel for other things. And so I was just like, well, I guess I'm restarting now. Like by year 2, the computer AI has taken over like 3 territories, and you're like, built 4 houses.
You really do have to. You really have to manage your resources well, because you can starve out really easily. Starve out or just completely bankrupt yourself.
Die of the cold and all of that.
Yeah,
like yeah. It's like rule of thumb: keep one person logging at all times. One family is always logging.
Yeah. And you always have to have one family available, or else you won't be able to build anything. I don't know if you found that out.
Yeah. You have to have an unemployed family, otherwise nothing gets built. And they do it all in their own time, which is really... Don't buy anything except oxen until you have a healthy income. And like no burbage plots that cost money, like a goat farm or anything. It sounds nice, don't do it.
And that's the interesting thing about this game too, is that with the citizens, usually in these city builders, you have like it counts your citizens, but everything here is by family. And as you said, they go and do things themselves. So you can assign each building an employee or something like that, and a priority. But essentially, the citizens determine who's going to go do what. And then when it comes to like you can assign a spot for a market, but they're the ones that are going to build the market stalls. They're the ones that are going to, build up the houses. You don't force people to go do stuff, generally speaking. You can assign priorities, but it's very one big point of this game, I think, when they were making it, and the developer Slavic Magic, whatever, Magic. It made a point of is having having a natural town builder. So it's not like city skylines where everything's in grids and everything has to be min-maxed. It's very natural how everything develops as you play through the game. You can try your best to make it very organized and all that stuff, but that's not how it was. People built wherever was the most convenient at the time.
Convenient access to water, and
and
like they actually they have each of the zones that you can start in is its own, like they have their own pros and cons, right? Like some of them are like really good at growing grains and stuff. Mm-hmm. Others are really bad at growing like anything except wheat. Which is useful, but like Others are like inundated with animals, so you can have like almost an entire hunting economy, or in berry picking, at least for the first couple of years. It's really really in depth. It's interesting, the interplay. The part that I think bothers me the most about it is that I can't grow fast enough to keep up. Um, and maybe it's just like the seeds that I've gotten or something. But your population only grows if your approval is at or above 50%, and you have available housing.
Yeah.
And housing is not difficult to come by, like especially once you start getting in. Once you get about 8 to 10 families, you can basically just have infinite housing. You're going to start running out of space real soon and have to take over, but you don't have the people to do the thing. But like they'll come in like once every couple of weeks or so, maybe sometime. I went for a 6-month stretch in game time, 6 months without a single family moving into my village.
So are you aware that there are like plots of land that are more fertile than others for specific crops?
So I am aware that there is an overlay that you can do that.
Yeah.
I do not know what the overlay means because it is not explained. So I'm kind of guessing it's color coded.
Yeah, it is.
It's color
and I know you have issues with it. So just so everyone knows, there is an overlay that you can turn on, and it'll show, and per crop, it'll show you areas that are good for growing for a specific crop. So you can have wheat in one area that has like dark green, meaning it's fertile land for that specific crop, but maybe your barley or something else is not good in that area. So you'd have to find a separate area for that farm to grow those crops.
And not every place has those.
Right. And then
like,
it also depends on your
started
territory.
on one map.
Yeah,
I started on one map where I was like, oh, I'm going to do rye. And the entire map with that overlay was the exact same color, which I assume was bad. Because I tried planting some and it was like, oh, you're going to get like 2 rye from this 9-acre, field.
Yeah. So that might be some to find a way to figure that out if you're having trouble with growing the food. But I was gonna say something.
It's so much fun. I like the city building aspect to it. I like the micromanagement of the families.
What I was gonna say was that it's a really beautiful game, and the cool thing about it too is that, as talking about the whole natural city building, is that you're going to put 2 houses next to each other, they're not going to look the same. And it's really cool because you can, when you lay down these burgage plots, they're not like square plots. You can morph them and like drag a line around basically, and it can be all kinds of different shapes, and based on the shapes could be different amount of families that live in there and different stuff.
It will adjust for things that you already have laid down.
Right.
So if you have like the market here and a well here, but you drag and you're building a section and you're like, oh, we're going to put a bunch of housing in here, it will automatically adjust around those and be like, this is how many plots you're going to build. It's really cool. I like it. I put like 8 hours into this game since we got the show notes, and I'm gonna keep going. I may wait a little bit to see what happens as it gets closer to release, but like it's a fun, relaxing kind of kick back.
I know, Vance, you said you watched some gameplay of this. What were your thoughts? Did it catch your interest at all?
Yeah, I like this kind of game. And what really looked nice about it is a lot of times, like, in some ways, it's like games like City Skylines, except, medieval, that kind of thing. But unlike a lot of other games in that genre, this does, kind of as Rev was pointing to, it goes at a slow pace. Like, you really feel like your village is growing up in
organically.
very slowly and organically. Like, you don't start out with 5 houses and then have a city next year, like you do in like other like city building games, right? You start out with 3 tents and then maybe have 5 houses next year. Like maybe. Right?
Right.
So,
I usually get to the church by about December or January. And that's necessary to upgrade your buildings in order to get an income.
yeah.
I'm really excited just to see how deep they're going to take this as it goes through early access, because it's already pretty deep, and I don't mind the slow pace of it because of the depth, because it's not just plopping buildings down and all that. There's a lot more to it. You have to clear out bandit camps. You have to worry about your rival lord.
And I'm saying that the slow pace is a selling point. For me, right? It's not like rush and build some massive thing quickly. It's like actually feel the development of this settlement as time goes on. I think more than most other games in the genre I've seen.
Right. Well, as you're building this city, sometimes it gets expensive. And when things get expensive, sometimes you have to save a little bit of money. And you can save some money by checking out our game in free fun.
$29.99. We didn't ever mention the price of that game.
Oh, okay. Well, hold on. We're still going. $29.99.
Look it up.
$29.99 is 25% on sale. $39.99 normal.
No, just cut it.
You ruined my. No, it's not cut anymore. No, I'm the editor of the show. I am the captain. Look at me. It's $29.99, $39.99 normally. Free fun.
Tonight we are talking about the sequel to a shitty asset flip that is itself a shitty asset flip, but it is so much goddamn fun. The Penguin Game 2 Lies of Penguin.
Can we have a disclaimer here? I gotta put the disclaimer in. This is I'm on the wrong thing. This is a Rev special. This is his recommendation. I'm waiting. I think both Vance and I are waiting for him to give us a convincing argument for this game.
We demand an explanation.
Okay. Remember how I talked about in Withering Rooms how the combat didn't feel like super great? Mm-hmm. The combat in this game is weirdly good. Like the variation and the progression and all of that, weirdly entertaining in terms of that. It's a shitty asset flipped sequel game. The writing is horrible. Grammar is all over the place. Like, they've gone so far, like, it's not bonfires, it's bon ice. It's horrible.
They even
glorious.
used the "You Died" screen from.
Yeah, everything about this is just shitty asset flip, but it's free, so I don't know what the flip part is.
Shitty
the
asset,
story.
that's it.
Yeah, the story ties together weirdly well. The characters, despite being dopey writing, the dopey script is also weirdly compelling. The bosses are ridiculously hard. I cannot get past the second boss. I've probably logged like 6 hours into it. Not really, it's only been like 4. But like, I cannot get past the ninja and the master in the desert. It's one of those things where it's just like, and the soundtrack. I forgot the soundtrack. The soundtrack is fucking awesome. If you do nothing else but play this game for the soundtrack in the boss battles, it is top tier. I've had more fun playing this game than I have had playing Sea of Stars last year. If that puts it into perspective. And I'm bad at this game
of the
and
year,
I hate it.
2020.
No. This is Rev's personal stamp game of the year. And this is the guy that watches riff tracks and MST3K, but not because the riffs are amazing, though they are. It's because the movies are that bad, and I love those bad movies. If you've seen the movie Velocipaster, this is like that level of effort in a game.
I mean, it's even in the title, the Liza Penguin is taken right out from Liza P that just came out.
Liza P, yeah. No, it's like everything about this is just like, oh, we're doing this dumb thing, and I love it. It's so dopey, and I love it, and it's horrible, and I love it, and it's cute, and I hate it. There's no solid game design to it. Like the intro area where it's like, oh, you're pulling the bat out of the stone, like there is no level design to it. It's just assets dropped in for no reason. And the first boss that you fight is this goddamn orca with a magical laser rocket launcher. It's so dumb. And you run around with a baseball bat that can catch fire and hit people and like other powers. You get a steel bat that allows you to jump forward and slam. You can run around with machine guns as a penguin. It's awesome. But it's so bad. It's so bad. But it's so fun and it's free. Like even Josh can't bitch about that.
I mean, the fact that it's free is the saving grace.
Yeah, I mean, it's free.
I'm not at a loss for words.
Yeah. I mean, I'm fine with it existing, right? I mean, like you said, it's free. The dev is not trying to take advantage of anybody, right?
No. It's not like that Tiger game on the PlayStation Store that was like $500.
Yeah. So there's it's free. What else is there to say?
This soundtrack is awesome.
You know what this game reminds me of? Like, there's like a 12-year-old somewhere that's like, I saw a penguin at the zoo, and I really like orcas, and then if they had a bazooka and it went pow, and it'd be so awesome. That's what it reminds me of.
Yeah, and then when you beat the orca, it immediately becomes your friend and takes you to rescue the princess penguin in the middle of the desert, and she's fighting in an arena, and you show up, and she's like, oh yeah, this is great, we got more combat, and a fucking ninja master that can do like Cyclops lasers out of his eye.
Ninja better than pirates.
Clone himself, and like, it's so fucking cool.
Man, you're in luck, Rev, if you like this game, because man, I could probably make you a game that you'd love in a couple hours this afternoon if you want. I mean,
I have done no digging into this. I want to say that like it feels like, how when somebody does like a really good satire, like they intentionally do something super bad, but that because the only way they could do it in such a way that it's still entertaining is because they're really, really good at what they do and they know what rules they can break while still maintaining. This feels like that kind of game. It feels like somebody who has been doing a ton of game development on a bunch of fucking games around like different genres and everything. And then when, it'd be really fucking dumb, I'm going to revert to my 12-year-old self and or consult with my kid and make whatever shitty kitchen drawing that he does to put up on the fridge into a game. And then does it. It has that level of feel to it. It does. Go ahead.
Played it. I don't know. You're welcome to your opinion.
Well, I mean, I'm happy that you are happy.
You guys are so down about this. Jesus.
I'm not down on it. I can't make this game. I tried making a game once and it was awful. I mean,
go watch a Let's Play of it or something. The combat tied together with a. Yeah, but you're not getting the soundtrack for it with it, and you're not getting past this boss because whomever the fuck is playing this is bad at the game.
Damn. Rev said you're bad at the game, and you're bad at the game. Oh.
I've gotten past it. I cleared the Orca boss on my second attempt. He's on his third just since we've been showing
fucking
this.
Penguin noob.
Right?
Wallow your ass out of here.
No, it's like I'm stuck on the Ninja Master, but like, so I'm not really one to talk. But it's a lot of fun. It's dopey, fun, mindless. Like we're gonna do quasi puzzle. We're gonna do quasi Dark Souls combat. We're gonna go for it. Have fun with it. It's free. It'll take you like 6 minutes to download and determine if it's for you.
It's not large. It's not a huge download. It's free. So hey, go give it a shot. I mean, you might love it. Apparently, Rev does. So
put it in the comments what you think of this game, because I'm curious. Maybe we're the weirdos. Maybe we're off.
It's possible. You guys like horror games.
Yeah. If this had more blood and guts in it. More. Then it wouldn't made me crap my pants in fear instead of because I lost IQ. Maybe then. But what I don't like.
I think this one's also a solo dev. Just FYI. 3 games today, solo.
Okay, well that's not helping because we've seen what solo devs can do, and this.
I mean, I'm just saying.
I would be very. I would be very, very saddened if it was not a solo dev who made this game.
I've got 60 people working with me. I've got a $10 billion budget.
This is the studio that Take-Two did not shut down. Jesus. But something we can all agree on that sucks is the end of the show. I think this is the end of the show.
Yeah.
And I just would like to say thank you to all of you who have stopped by the live recording session. Snarky Prep, Malicious Intent, and everyone else in the chat. Appreciated. Thank you to those of you who are listening to the edited version. If you'd like to join the live chat, you can always do so. Right now, it is every Wednesday at 9 p.m., unless otherwise said. As we mentioned at the beginning of the show, this is a tough month. So there may be changes here and there, but right now we're going for Wednesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time or Daylight Savings. I don't know, whatever the fuck it is. It's where I'm in the New York time zone. And if you are live and if you missed one of the live shows, you can always watch an edited version on YouTube or check it out on Spotify, as on any podcast platform, blah blah blah. Thank you to Preposterone and Discreet Infinity for your support on Patreon. Anyone who wants to support us financially on Patreon can do so. Links below. You can also subscribe on Twitch. That's also financially helpful. So I hope you are able to do that. But if not, you can also do some things for free to help out, such as sharing the show. Go to email
or sending us games like Penguin Game 2. One of our listeners sent that to me. No, one of our listeners sent that to me. That's why I even started playing it.
Fair enough.
Join the Discord and just join the conversation. So that that helps us too. Just having you come in, give your opinion on things, and say
We also just like to chat.
Yeah.
And
we're friendly folks sometimes.
Yeah, and then email as well. contact@indiegameriot.net. You can send us those games that Rev says, news stories. We always could use news stories, help looking those things up and all that sort of stuff. So we appreciate it. Find us on Indie Game or on Twitter at Indie Game Riot. And then as a reminder again, Indie Revolution Expo coming up May 17th, that weekend, through the whole weekend.
Oh, it's a month and a half away. Oh my God.
No, it's less than that. It is now May. It is like 2.5 weeks away.
Fuck! I thought I had it like a month and a half.
No. Week and a half away before signups end. So yeah. Indie Revolution Expo. Go sign up and then check it out when it happens on the 17th through the 19th. Any last words, gentlemen?
Nope.
I can't wait until I can drink again.
He's under 21 again. That's what happens when you get oral surgery. All right, well, say your goodbyes.
Have a good one, folks.
See ya.